Over the next few videos, we'll be taking a look at the drum instrument plugin Drum Synth Live that comes included with the Fruity Edition, Producer Edition, and Signature Bundle versions of FL Studio. Drum Synth Live is a plugin drum synth that is based on the standalone version from Maximum Digital Audio. The instrument creates drums by using various forms such as sweep waveforms, pink and white noise, noise bands, and complex waveforms. The instrument is a virtual representation of several classic hardware drum synths such as the infamous Roland TR-909 and TR-808. The sounds in Drum Synth Live are generated by two oscillators and can be tweaked with the use of various bandpass filters and envelopes. The first oscillator can be set to either a down-sweeping oscillator, which is perfect when creating kicks and toms, or can use a full white noise to generate its sound. When oscillator 1 is set to noise, the second slider will allow you to morph between a generated sine wave and the noise generator. The second slider, when set to sweeping, will control if the pitch of the oscillator should sweep, and if it does, in which direction. When set in the middle to flat, no sweeping occurs. Set towards the left to force the pitch of the sweep upwards. The amount of the sweep will depend on how far to the left the slider is moved. Setting the slider to the right of center will force the pitch sweep downwards. Again, the amount of sweeping is determined by how far to the right the slider is moved. Quick sweeps are the basis of kick drum sounds. The harmonics knob will apply harmonic values to create distortion. Values to the left will apply negative harmonics, while values to the right will apply positive ones. The decay knob will control how long the sweeping oscillator will ring after the key is released. Use the frequency slider to set the base frequency of the sine wave or white noise generated by the second oscillator. The sweep knob will control the length of the sweep when sweeping is applied. The second oscillator includes a more advanced envelope to allow you to customize the attack, decay, sustain, and release settings of the sounds they generate. As well as adjusting the envelope's curve shape between a linear and logarithmic curve, which are useful on pieces such as hi-hats and snares. Each oscillator has a mix knob to control the balance between the two sound generators. Any of the dark knobs show parameters that will respond to velocity levels from the notes that trigger the instrument. The velocity to oscillator 1 frequency in oscillator 1 will allow hard velocity levels to change the frequency of the oscillator. When set to a positive value, hard velocity levels will create a higher frequency value. When set to negative value, hard velocities will create lower frequency values. The same thinking applies to the velocity to harmonics parameter, where harder velocity values will apply positive or negative modulation values to the harmonics. For oscillator 2, there is also a velocity to frequency control as well, which acts in the same manner as the same parameter in oscillator 1 does. The last two parameters in both oscillator 1 and 2 that respond to velocity are velocity to output level. This will allow the varying velocities to alter the volume of the note being played. Alright, now that we know what the core controls and the oscillator sections do, stick around as we look at the remaining controls in the wave, trig, and output sections.